Have you ever stopped to think that sometimes a woman may be harboring a world of feelings for you without being able to express them in words? Many emotions are not spoken, but they appear in a special way, in a look, a gesture, or even an attitude that says much more than it seems. These signs, however discreet they may be, are there, waiting for someone who can see them. And today I'm going to show you how to notice these details that, in the rush of everyday life, may go unnoticed, but that reveal what she really feels. Before continuing, like the video here and subscribe to the channel. This helps me bring more content like this and reach more people who need these tips. That way, together, we can understand even more about these emotions and connections that make all the difference in relationships. Let's go? The eyes never lie. You know that idea that the eyes are like windows to the soul? It's true. They can show what words can't explain. When a woman is suffering for you, she may try to hide it with smiles or a calm demeanor, but her eyes tell a different story. It's as if she's asking you to see what's behind it, the depth in her gaze. If you pay attention, you'll notice that her gaze carries something unique. Maybe it's longing, maybe pain, or even a silent desire to connect. It's as if, even without saying anything, she's asking you to understand what's going on inside her. A look can be a silent cry for understanding, something that words can't express. Intense and averted gazes. Sometimes, she can look at you with such intensity that you almost feel the weight of that moment. But soon after, she quickly looks away, as if she's afraid that you'll realize what she really feels. It's almost as if she's torn between wanting you to know and at the same time hiding it. The sparkle in her eyes, and that sparkle in her eyes. It doesn't always mean joy. Sometimes it's a sparkle that comes from a sadness kept deep down, or a hope that she's trying to keep hidden. It's subtle, but it's there, waiting for someone to notice. Her looks are much more than simple gestures or movements. They are like small signs of an internal conflict between what she feels and what she thinks she needs to hide. If you stop and pay attention, you'll realize that there's something deep there that's asking for care, affection, and above all, attention. After all, the eyes never lie. Attention to the small details. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to pay attention to everything about you? Well, when a woman feels something special, it shows in the little things she notices and remembers about you. These details, which you often don't give much importance to, are like a reflection of the affection she feels. She remembers everything. From your favorite song to that food you love, or the way you prefer to spend your free time. Nothing escapes her. It's almost as if she has a mental map of everything that makes you happy. Maybe you don't even remember saying some of these things, but she does, and that says a lot. Genuine appreciation. These memories are no coincidence. They show that you are not just another person in her daily life. You mean something bigger, something important. The fact that she keeps these details to herself is a silent way of showing how much she values you and everything that is part of your life. More than curiosity. It is not just a common interest, like someone who wants to know more about someone. It is something much deeper. This attention to detail is proof of genuine dedication, of someone who really cares. It is not about wanting to please out of obligation, but about wanting to show in a subtle way that you are special. Even if she does not say it with words, each gesture, each memory, is a way of showing you how much she observes and appreciates you. Sometimes it is easy to let this go unnoticed, but if you look closely, you will realize that these small details tell a big story. a story of care, affection, and love that does not always need to be said out loud to be understood. The silence that says it all. Silence is like a puzzle that is difficult to put together. Sometimes it may seem empty, but in fact it is full of meaning. When a woman suffers in silence, it can be difficult to understand what is happening. Her distance may be mistaken for indifference, but in fact she is saying a lot, just without using words. Emotional distance. You may notice that she is quieter. She responds less to messages, her replies are short, and she seems more reserved. This does not mean that she no longer cares or that her feelings have disappeared. In fact, it is the opposite. This emotional distance is often an attempt to deal with her own feelings without overwhelming you. A silent internal struggle. Behind this silence, there is a battle going on. She is trying to process emotions that perhaps even she herself cannot fully understand. It is as if the silence is her way of protecting what she feels, avoiding exposing herself too much or delving deeper into the pain. It is not because she does not want to talk, but because sometimes silence seems to be the only way to maintain control. Silence is not rejection. It's important to understand that this silence doesn't mean she's pushing you away or that she doesn't care. It's more like a shield, a way of protecting herself while she tries to sort through the emotional turmoil she's feeling. It's not easy for her, and silence ends up being a way of saying, "I'm dealing with something difficult, but I'm still here." If you pay close attention, you'll realize that this silence is asking for patience, understanding, and care. Sometimes the deepest things are unsaid, but they can be felt. And silence, as complicated as it may be, can be as powerful a form of communication as any words. Subtle reactions to other people. Have you ever noticed how she reacts when you mention other people? Sometimes they're such small and subtle things that you don't notice, but if you pay close attention, these details can tell you a lot about how she feels. Silent jealousy. You may notice a slight change in her face. A smile that seems forced, a glance that quickly looks away, or even a sudden silence. She may try to change the subject or make a joke to divert attention. These small gestures can be signs that she is dealing with a discreet jealousy, the kind that she tries to hide but ends up showing without meaning to. An internal conflict. But don't mistake this for control or possession. It's not that she wants to limit you or tell you what to do. In fact, it's more about a struggle within herself, a mix of insecurity and the desire to not show how she feels. She may not know how to express these emotions openly, so she ends up letting small gestures speak for her. What the subtle moments reveal. These reactions, even if they are almost imperceptible, speak volumes. It's as if, even trying to hide it, she is letting it slip that she cares, that she watches you carefully, and that she has feelings for you. These moments are like little pieces of a puzzle that, when you put them together, show you how much she cares, even if she doesn't say it out loud. Paying attention to these subtleties is a way to understand that sometimes what's left unsaid ends up being more important than any words. Changes in behavior. Have you ever noticed how her behavior sometimes feels like a roller coaster? One moment she's loving and attentive, but the next she seems distant, as if she's built an invisible wall. This kind of swing can be confusing, but it actually reveals a lot more than it seems. Close one day, distant the next. She might send you sweet messages and be very caring one day, but the next day she's colder, responding briefly, or even pulling away. This shift may seem strange, but it doesn't mean she's being indifferent or playing with your feelings. Rather, it's a reflection of something deeper going on inside her. Emotional conflict. These swings are usually the result of an internal conflict. On one hand, she feels the urge to get closer, to show what she feels, and to create a stronger connection. But at the same time, she may feel afraid of getting hurt, of being vulnerable, or even of not knowing how to deal with her own emotions. It's a struggle between the heart that wants to open up and the mind that tries to protect itself. Attempting to find balance. This alternation between being close and distancing herself is actually an attempt by her to balance these conflicting feelings. It's as if she's testing her own emotions, trying to figure out how far she can go without getting lost or hurt. It's not about confusing you, but about trying to find a middle ground between what she feels and what she thinks she should do. If you notice these changes, know that behind them, there is a person dealing with a mix of feelings and seeking emotional security. Patience and understanding can be the key to helping dispel these fears and creating a space where she feels comfortable being herself without having to fight against what she feels. How to act when faced with these signs? If you notice that she's suffering in silence for you, it's time to act with care and empathy. It's not easy to deal with feelings that are hidden, but with the right attitudes, you can help alleviate this emotional burden that she carries. Create a safe environment. First and foremost, make her feel comfortable around you. This means showing her that you're available to listen without judgment, that she can trust you. Sometimes a simple, "Is everything okay? Do you want to talk?" can be the start of the openness she needs. Don't push it, but show her that you're there if she wants to share her feelings. Reflect on your own feelings. As you try to understand what's going on with her, it's also important to look within yourself. Ask yourself, how do I feel about all of this? What does she mean to me? If you find yourself feeling the same way, it might be time to take a step forward. Invite her out for coffee, a walk, or simply to have a deeper conversation. These small gestures can make her feel valued and understood. What if you don't feel the same way? If your feelings aren't reciprocated, it's essential to be honest, but in a sensitive way. Avoid prolonging the situation or raising false hopes, as this can end up hurting someone who is already emotionally vulnerable even more. Choose kind, respectful words to explain how you feel, showing that you value the connection between you, even if it can't be the way she would like it to be. The power of empathy. No matter the situation, empathy is key. Showing that you care and that you value what she feels is already a very meaningful gesture in itself. Remember, it is not easy to open your heart, especially when there is a fear of rejection. Be patient, attentive, and above all, honest. Sometimes, the way you treat someone can mean much more than the words you say. Conclusion. Love, in all its forms, involves a dose of vulnerability. When a woman suffers in silence for someone, she is demonstrating a great capacity to love, even if in a subtle way. However, love should not be a burden to be carried alone. It should be shared. If you notice these signs in someone close to you, ask yourself, what can I do to be a support for her? An empathetic and non-judgmental presence can transform a story of silent suffering into a bond of understanding and mutual support. Remember, behind every gesture, word or silence, there is a story that deserves to be heard. So, did you enjoy the content? So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Now, if you want to continue learning more about how to understand women and create deeper connections, check out the video that's appearing here on the screen. Just click and enjoy. I guarantee it will be worth it. See you next time.